All right, here I am back again with you, and I just did a talk about surviving as an artist. And I mean, I could share my own journey, but I mean, I don't want to bore you to tears. But basically, at 23 years old, when I was in my last semester of my studies at University of Toronto, I was studying philosophy and computer science. I was about to graduate, and I was pretty sure that I didn't want to work in any of those two fields. And in fact, I had been pretty sure for the previous 4 years that I didn't want to really work for anybody, and I didn't want this kind of life where you go to the office or you whatever you do, you work for somebody else, you make money and then you go home, you watch TV and then you get older every day and then you die and that's it. I mean, I could see that maybe thanks to the existentialist philosophy classes that I took and the philosophy of religion classes and all these philosophy classes that I was taking, I could very clearly see what was going on. And what was going on is that I was at university, I was doing what I didn't want to do. I mean, I didn't enjoy my studies, not in the slightest, not in the least, not even at all. I didn't enjoy my studies at all at university, at all. And um, I couldn't imagine doing that for the rest of my life, whatever I was doing. So I got into a crisis. I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like, I don't want to do this. And coming from a family of where my one side are doctors and my other side, my other parents, my other side of my family are engineers. It's like, do I want to be a doctor? No, I can't handle the sight of blood. I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. I don't want to deal with like infections and surgeries or anything like that. I can't. I kind of try to imagine it. I don't like studying formally at university, so it's like it's not gonna work for me. And I don't want to be an engineer. I'm not that good at math. I'm not that interested in engineering. So it's like, what do I do, right? And somehow I just discovered during this crisis, which happened in my last semester of my 4 year bachelor's degree, um, I discovered that I had a talent for visual representation. I had a really creative way of doing things visually, really interesting. Like I started drawing things and I started making faces with letters and doing all this psychedelic art and just doing really stuff that was really cool. And I was enjoying the process. I was enjoying every moment of it, you know, which was quite the opposite of what was happening to me in school. I was literally enjoying the whole time I was creating. Let's say I could be painting for 6 hours or 8 hours in a row. Every moment of that was enjoyable, and then when I'm done, I step back and I look at what I did, and I'm as surprised and pleased as somebody who would be just seeing that for the first time. It's like there's a new creation. There's something that didn't exist before, and now it's here, and it's perfect. You know what I mean? It's like it's really cool, and it didn't exist before. It's like whoa, it's the best feeling. It's a great feeling. So I got into it. I really got into art, and um, it took a little while because I wasn't sure. Again, this question like, am I gonna survive as an artist? And the turning point came when I was asked to make to make a painting for somebody, and I kept procrastinating at putting it off uh, until there were like 2 days left before I had to leave. I was in New York, and they wanted a big paint. Well, I didn't know at the time that they wanted a big painting, but they wanted a painting from me. So I said, okay, well, get me the canvas, and I'll do it, right? And they didn't get me the canvas until like 3 days before I had to leave New York. And when they got the canvas, it was like a 5 by 5 foot canvas. It was huge. It was like the biggest I've ever seen. And they got, I think, two of them, or it was like a 4 by 5, whatever it was a really large size. And I was like, whoa, that's what you guys are expecting me to do in 2 days? So I basically stayed up all night, and I did one, and then and then and I didn't know what to do. I finished it, so I started the second one, and I got the second one about half done in those 3 days. So when I was still starting out. This is like 2006, and I just picked up art materials for the first time in 2005, probably. So in 2006, I complete this large 4 by 5 or whatever it is foot painting in a night, and then, or maybe a night and a half, and then I start another one and get it half done. And then I realize, you know what? I guess this is what I do best. Like, out of all the stuff that I know how to do, I think this is what I do best. And then I just thought about it logically, like, okay, I did this in a day, right? Um, I'm kind of just starting out. Like, I haven't had any training. I'm not that good yet, but I'm pretty quick, and I'm still pretty good. Like, I should be getting better with time, as I get more practice, as I get like more knowledge, right? So, but I'm already really quick, and I'm already good. And how much can I reasonably sell a 4 by 5 foot painting? Well, back in 2006, I thought I could get $400 for it, like easily. Give me $400 for this 4 by 5 foot painting. Yeah, I think I could sell it for $400. So it's like, well, I mean, how else am I gonna make $400 in one night, So it's like, I think I can do this. I think I can. I think I can be an artist, and that was the turning point. Then I started. Then I just kept going from there. And some of the sort of pitfalls along the way is when you're first starting out, like everything you should do, you think it's freaking amazing, right? So it's like my newest painting, I did a painting. Oh wow, this is like my best work ever. I want to get $1,500 for it, right? And it's really not that good. It's really not that good when you look back at it in retrospect. So this is the thing, is that when you're just starting out, you're not really great, but you're gonna, you like what you're doing and everything, but, objectively, you're not phenomenal or anything like that. But you think you are. And, it's like, oh, whoa, this is the best painting I've ever done. I'm not selling this one cheap. And you know what? That's like the third painting you've ever done. And yeah, maybe it's the best one, but you only did two other paintings. So that's not saying much, right? And you can't expect to be getting like $1,500 or whatever for your second and third painting that you've ever done just because it's the best thing you've ever done, because it doesn't mean anything that it's the best thing you've ever done, see? And as you keep doing it, and, a year goes by, 2 years go by, 3 years go by, then you're like, oh, okay, well, that painting was okay, it wasn't that great. It's not worth whatever I thought it was worth. And of course, you're not going to sell when you're an artist that nobody knows, and you got nothing behind you, no shows, nothing, and you're trying to sell for exuberant prices. Like, you're probably not going to sell, So as you keep producing, then it's like, oh, I've done 50 paintings, I've done 100 paintings. Well, okay, I've done 50 paintings, they're sitting in my living room. Maybe I can sell, I can sell one cheap. Who cares, right? Like, I've got so many of them, and I'm going to make more, and they're going to be better. Every time, most of the time, my new painting is going to be the best painting that I've done, So it's like it's all right to let them go. It's all right to sell them. It's all right to, you know, get them out there, basically, and adios. It's like having kids or something. You got one kid, you're like, oh, it's my baby, I can't let it go. But when you have like 80 kids or something that you've adopted or whatever, it's a little different, right? So, um, maybe that's not a good metaphor, but whatever. What I'm saying is that once you have a lot of paintings, the more you make, the less you're attached you are to them. And I mean, there's always like some degree of attachment, small degree of attachment to whatever's the latest thing that you're doing or you've done, because it's like, whoa, it's the latest thing I've done. It's like the best thing I've ever done, right? Because it's the new thing. But it's always good to sell when you can, without underselling yourself, of course, because that's, I mean, you gotta know. Basically, you got to know what you can get for your work, and you'll find that out with time, like over time, as you try different price ranges and all that stuff. So that was my story. I mean, what happened? So, first couple of years, very little, very few sales, almost nothing, and then I got a part-time job, and I painted. I painted about 4 or 5 hours a day, and I worked about 4 or 5 hours a day. Um, After a year of that, I got another part-time job, and this second year was tough. It was like it was tough to be painting and to be working part-time. So it's not something that's recommended, but it might be necessary if you got like no money. If you're probably gonna have to have a regular job, because making art and making a living from making art, especially when you're unknown and unexperienced, is not easy. So, but it's also not easy to have a job and to also paint in your spare time. So, I was fortunate enough to sort of save enough money over 2 years of working part time to get me through maybe another year or a year and a half, and then after that, by that point, say when a year and a half passed, I was already selling my artwork and was able to pay the rent and pay my expenses and my food and my whatever else, and put some money away. So it took about 4 or 5 years, maybe 5 years, before I started really being able to sustain myself through my artwork. But the good thing is that once you're sort of more or less able to make ends meet and, pay your rent and pay your expenses and pay your food and have some money left over, from there, it's probably just going to get easier, because more people will get to know you, more people will see your work. It's like every painting, I always think of it that every painting that somebody buys, it's not just that person who sees it. There's a bunch of people who see that painting in that person's house, and one of them might buy something for themselves, and it just grows like that, kind of exponentially. So I think the longer you do it, the better you get, and the sort of easier it gets, at least to survive. But that's just my experience. And I think I'm done with this question, and I think let me see, maybe I can answer another question before it gets too late and I have to go to bed. So this has been your faithful servant, as they say here in Mexico, Andrew Osta. You can find me online, andrewosta.com, also Facebook, andrew.osta, and on Patreon. I appreciate your support. Peace.